Every time I finish a manga or an anime or a TV show or a movie that really resonates with me, I always feel like it will be the last time I ever feel that way. I don't know why, but it always makes me think that way. Maybe I'm weird. I have no idea. The last time was with probably Haikyuu was the last time. Or did I watch Haikyuu before I watched One Piece? I can't remember. But Haikyuu was probably the last time, about a year ago or something like that. I think a year or two ago. I felt like really connected to a piece of media. In a way, more so, this is a different type. But then when Tatsuki Fujimoto released Goodbye Eri, the character of Eri really kind of resonated with me in a sense. More so in the ending of the chapter and her kind of philosophy towards making that movie that they did in the manga or the one shot. Now I'm not going to talk about the plot overall unless it's necessary to my point here. I just wanted to talk about why I love Goodbye Eri, particularly using Eri, the character, as that vocal point. First of all, I know this one shot was based on the idea of filming a movie. In a sense, it was also around themes of death and not forgetting. But and that's being very vague because it's just kind of giving you the overview. You should go read it if you want to know what the major themes are. But I just wanted to basically talk about what I got from it. When I was reading this, it didn't really cop it until about the second time I read it. But I have to say, it was such a good, probably accidental commentary on the fear of dementia and the fear of forgetting, because it's a serious illness at this point in time in human existence, and it's just something that I think Fujimoto tackled brilliantly, indirectly speaking. I don't even know if he intended any of it, but I feel like the way he wrote Eri, as someone who was inspired by a film documenting someone's mother and the positives of her life, and then was so thankful by the end of the movie when she said, I will never forget who I was. Though they were small lines in the movie, or in the manga, it really resonated with me because there is something about today's world where dementia is so prevalent when you get older that is just something that I find I fear quite a bit myself. I mean, and a lot of my family have succumbed to it, sadly enough, and all that. And it's terrible to see because they lose themselves. They're not the same people they were before. But through the beauty of film, we get to see who they were before, but also they get to remember themselves. If only for a millisecond, they still get to remember who they were. And especially when those are dying, it's probably the sweetest thing to be able to watch back moments of your life that you can't physically remember yourself without the assistance of video. And because of recent events, it hit a lot harder for me personally. Because it's a scary thing, dementia, because it can slowly rot away at you. And the idea of video has really helped kind of quell that fear for me, because even if I forget who I am, or even if the people I care about forget who they are, if we record parts of their lives and record happy moments in our lives, we will always and forever remember those people in a positive light and remember who they were and never forget and never become kind of regretful of the state they are now. And we'll obviously be sad for them, but you won't have a resentment that many people would have the ability to look back and watch videos of who they were before the disease took hold. And I'm pretty sure this wasn't Fujimoto's intent, and I'm not going to assume it was, but I feel like the way he wrote this one shot was a really good depiction of it and how film can help us remember who we were. And that's the main focus in the film, because as we get later on in the film, The father talks about how the mother was completely different to how she was shown in the camera, but he was thankful that his son filmed her in a positive light. And after what happens to Eri, her friend says, well, wasn't Eri a bit of a bitch and all that, but I'm thankful you recorded her in the way you did. Because that's the beauty of film, and whether it's kind of has its negative aspects, as we all know through social media and stuff, as many people say this might be a commentary on itself, I think the positive from combating this disease, in a sense, in a way, not entirely, it's not actually combating the disease itself, but it allows the people who are suffering it and the people who have to live with people who have it to remember those people and to remember themselves and to remember the great moments they had in their lives. Because as we're shown in this manga, the saddest thing in death is to not remember your life, because that's what gives you peace, to remember the good times you had in life, to remember all the hardships you went through and overcome, to remember the people you met. And not to be able to remember that is a tragedy in its own right. And Goodbye Eri is a way to show the positives of this, the positives of film, the positives of video, and how it can help people always remember and they'll never forget. And it holds a special place in people's hearts in that regard. And honestly, there are many other messages that... No. I'll have the streaky bacon.
What?
I'll have the streaky bacon.
Do you want streaky bacon and croissants?
Okay.
Is it from nothing you having streaky bacon and croissants?
Mm-hmm.
Did you fall that way? That gonna take?
Yeah. But there are many other issues Fujimoto tackles here, which I do appreciate. And I did want to talk about, but I felt like I didn't have a deep amount to say about it, and I didn't want to get too personal either. So I didn't really want to talk about those issues particularly. But I will say, one thing I love about this is that it can tackle issues in completely different perspective to what I may have on those issues, and a completely different viewpoint, and then still make me feel like I relate to it, and still make me feel a level of understanding with Fujimoto and his characters. And Eri to me is the perfect example of that, because it really encapsulates the kind of the joy, not only like the joy I feel of life, but the fear I feel of forgetting that life and forgetting the friends I've made, forgetting the family I've had, forgetting the shit, forgetting the crap moments, forgetting the terrible moments, you know, stuff that has really made me who I am, you know. And thankfully, through film and video, we can remember this stuff. Hell, I remember we were watching my parents' wedding video the other day, and so many people in that video had died. But we can remember those people through these videos. And even, thank God, I hadn't heard my granddad's voice since I was about 4 years old. And unfortunately, I was forgetting that voice. But finally, for the first time in God knows, like over a decade now, I was able to hear his voice one more time and remember what it sounded like. Put a voice to the words I remember from what he said to me in the moments I spent with him. And although I was very young, they're one of my first memories. And to not remember the voice that they were said by really annoyed me and really ate away at me. But thanks to the format of video, in this case VHS, I was able to remember that once more and experience that again and see him one more time. And that meant so much to me. And it really did. And I think not immediately after, but a few days after, you see a manga about making a video to remember your mother by, and then remember a dear friend by. There are other messages, as I said, that are very important and I relate to, but like Eri's character through this story just really resonated with me, and wanting to remember who you were and wanting to remember the people that you were with, honestly, I loved it. This is an amazing one shot, and if you haven't read it, it's 199 pages. That you're gonna have something you relate to it. You really will, and yeah, I really think it's worth the read. Sorry if it was a bit of a ramble. It's my first video back in 2 months, so I do apologize about that. My God, the surgery went well. For any of you who want to know, the foot's all good. The X-rays are all good. I'm just wearing a boot at the minute so I can get back up to the studio. It's a bit of a mess because my brother was sleeping here while I was downstairs. So, but other than that, we're all good. Thanks for watching, and read Goodbye Airy. Yeah.